Hey Wilson, we're getting a package tomorrow, man. What is this? How big? I never know what it is. I just know how much it weighs and then I kind of guess at what it is. But this isn't giving me much. Well, either way, I'm getting a package tomorrow. Hey guys, welcome back. Let me mark that as unread. All right, now back to the business. Welcome back to New Stuff TV, the untechnical tech channel. I'm your host, Antoine. Let's talk about my phone again, Richardson, because today we're going to be talking about or doing like a review or a review of my review of the Galaxy Z Fold 4. I freaking love this phone, but it doesn't mean it's perfect. It's not a perfect phone, but it is as good as it can probably get. But I just want to give you a little update on how things have been going in the last few weeks I've been using this phone since I showed it to you the last time. So, you know what? I'm not really that comfortable in this chair, so let's just go ahead and sit down. All right, guys, welcome back. It's time to get into it. So the Galaxy Z Fold 4, I still love the phone, man. I've been using it every day as my daily driver. Yes, I still have the Galaxy S22 Ultra, but it kind of just lives in my backpack now. And sometimes I'll take thumbnail pictures with it, but that's pretty much all I use it for. Oh, and to operate my gimbal when I need like a secondary phone. But other than that, I really don't use that phone. This is my daily driver. And what does that mean? It means it lives in my pocket or in my hand. So I guess that's when we get into like the first thing that you'll notice, which is the form factor. It is a smaller or slimmer phone, but it is super thick and chunky. And it does pack a little bit of weight, especially when you put a case on it. But naked, like I usually carry it, you know, it feels like money. Let's just, you know, you pick it up and it's like, it's not like your regular phone. It feels like a lot of money because it is. It's $1,800 in the form of a small brick, like a gold brick just sitting in your pocket. When you pull it out, it kind of feels delicate at first, but once you get used to it, especially if you're using it without a case, once you get used to it, it just feels natural to you. Using it in its normal form factor, which is, you know, like phone mode, it feels very comfortable, especially one-handed. I've completely gotten used to it in the left and the right hand. I have no problems with it. But since we're talking about form factor, that's one piece of the puzzle right there. But when you open, I just heard it. Let's see if we can get it again. Hold up. Okay, you hear that popping? You hear that, Wilson? It's like a crackling. It's almost like some knuckles cracking, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm about to use my phone. Some people are really bothered by that because it is an $1,800 phone. This is an expensive piece of hardware. Some people feel like, yeah, I shouldn't be hearing knuckles cracking when I open up my phone. I don't mind it. I just know it's there. So if it's perfectly quiet and I can hear it, it's just there. So I thought I'd just mention it because some people will bitch about that, but you know, it's not a big deal to me. But I did take some notes because this is a perfect phone for note taking. Look at all that real estate I got there. We've talked about form factor, but because of its form factor, because it has two, opening up into tablet mode really brings this thing to life. And it becomes way more than the phone. In fact, it becomes kind of like a mini tablet, almost like one of those iPad minis. Remember when the iPad mini came out and people were just holding it one-handed and just doing iPad-ish kind of stuff? That's kind of what you're getting here. You know, I feel like I got a little iPad mini in my hand. But, you know, when we get into the full experience here, I really want to just touch on some things that I feel have, you know, I've gotten more use with it. And so I probably didn't bring it up in the last episode of this little series, but I'll go ahead and talk about it now. All right, so the S Pen experience, it's still the same. I still wish it was part of the phone, like integrated in there. I won't harp on that too much, but the S Pen experience is still great when you use the S Pen, when you have it, which we'll get into later in the video. Moving on to the camera systems. The camera is great. I've used the camera. I took a trip to New York about 2 weeks ago. I was taking pictures of buildings and people and places and things and little video clips and stuff. The camera worked fine for everything I needed it for. The video quality was really good. I'm not the phone videographer or phone photographer that a lot of people, you know, may want to be. I just need, you know, like a selfie, you know what I'm saying? A quick selfie. And I use this camera right here, not the one on the inside. This one is trash for photos, but it's excellent for things like Zoom calls and Microsoft Teams and stuff like that. I talk to my son via video chat all the time with this inside camera, but this one, where is it at? Right there. That one on the small screen, that's the one I take my selfie photos with, and it works great. As far as like your real photos, the ones you're gonna take of like landscapes, flowers, and stuff like that, that's this camera system right here. The only thing that I would have to complain about, and it's not even really a complaint, I just kind of missed the zoom that I was getting with that Galaxy S22 Ultra. I didn't realize I was gonna miss that zoom. I didn't even think it was a big deal to be able to zoom out into the moon and take a picture of the moon. Like, I never did that stuff, and I still don't and won't do it. But when I was in New York, I noticed that I was on those streets and I wanted to take pictures of like Grand Central Station, but I was across the street and I wanted to kind of zoom in on some features of the building or even the wording. You know, I wanted to kind of zoom in there and get a nice tight shot. This thing just don't do it like the S22 Ultra. Now, here goes I don't know if it's my favorite thing about the phone, but it's up there. It's top. It's one of the tops. The battery life. I talked about this in the last video, but I got to talk about it some more because after you use the phone for a couple of weeks, a month or so, 45 days, you notice how that battery is really going to work because the operating system has gotten used to your usage patterns. So in my case, I don't find myself charging the phone overnight as often. Like, I didn't even charge my phone last night. I think I went to sleep with it at about 30%. I don't know what it was at when I woke up, but I charged it via super fast charging, which is something I said in my last video these phones did not have. Previously, I was plugging in my phone in my super fast charger that I had from the S22 Ultra, and you know, I don't know what wattage it is, but it wasn't identifying the charge as super fast charging. I was a little disappointed about that, but I noticed it was charging relatively fast. But now I actually see super fast charging on the screen when I plug it in to charge. So awesome, because like I said, if you don't charge your phone in the morning or overnight, you go to sleep at 30% and you're gonna do a full day at work or out on the streets or something like that, you can plug your phone in, get that super fast charge if you have a compatible charger. You can get that super fast charging going, and inside of what, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes, you got a full charge. But I'm also one of those people. Samsung has a feature in here where you can kind of preserve your battery. And I have mine set to where it won't charge past 85% because I'm preserving the battery. I don't understand why I'm doing that now that I'm saying it out loud, because I usually trade my phone in every 2 years. So I don't really need to preserve it because by that time, you know, it's gone anyway. So I'll probably kick it back up to 100%. But I supercharge up to 85%. And that battery gets me through, I would say about maybe 70% of my day. And then I might have to top it off somewhere in the middle or toward the latter part of my day. And then, like I said, I'm not really concerned about charging it overnight. So the battery life with this phone this is probably the most battery efficient phone I've ever owned, which is kind of interesting because it's not a small phone. I mean, here it is, but I'm using it like this a lot. So it's almost like powering up a tablet and using less battery than an actual phone would. That's pretty interesting how you did that, Samsung. I like how you pulled that off. Now, let's get into some productivity, because that's what this phone is all about, right? I feel like to spend $1,800 on a phone that folds out into a tablet, you must be doing something productive. Don't be getting one of these phones if all you're gonna do is scroll up and down on Instagram, okay? This is just not the phone for you. There's plenty of phones out there that can do that. This is for people who get stuff done. Cue the Home Depot music. Okay, so in the way of productivity, I'm actually still getting used to how productive this phone can be. Not only can you have your 3 apps running, you know, their pages running at the same time, but you also get those little pop-up bubbles that you can have going at the same time. You can just tap and open it up like a calculator. You can tap, open it up, do your little calculation, close that bubble. Love that. But I'm still getting used to it, man. You can just slide, you know, your apps in all different directions and move them out of the way, resize them. And I love it. And I love that Samsung is still working on making this phone even more productive than it already is. I love flex mode because that's where you can really take advantage of the form factor and design of this phone. You know, when you're on a Zoom call, like when I'm talking to my son or something like that, I can just prop it up on a pillow. His face is right there, but the phone actually has its own kickstand. And if, you know, the app is really optimized for, for the app like Zoom or Google Meet or Microsoft Teams, you'll have controls at the bottom that you can just kind of tap. So it's almost like having like a ultra mini PC or a laptop in front of you sitting there on your pillow. And so that's one of the things that I really like. When it comes to watching like video content and stuff like that, this form factor has been super clutch. Just put it on the countertop, make your sandwich, watch me on YouTube, and it's done. You don't have to prop your phone up on the little sugar canister, you know. I know y'all do that. But I love the form factor, and I love that they've actually made apps functional for its form factor. But
I wish more apps would be optimized for the different form factors that this thing has. Because in portrait mode, it's still, even though it looks like a square, this is still considered portrait mode. When you turn it into landscape, sometimes the apps just do wonky stuff and they resize and they get real slim and it's just awkward feeling. So that's a third party kind of thing, like, you know, with Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that. TikTok seems to have taken full advantage of this bigger landscape, because once you open up TikTok, comments kind of scoot over to the side and you still have your full TikTok going, but now you have your comments on the side so you can read TikTok, or you can scroll TikTok and read comments at the same time. I wish other apps were optimized to do that. That way we could take full advantage of this huge landscape we got here. Now let's double back around to video content. I love watching video content on this phone, but some people have complained about the big black bars that you'll see. Dude, get over it. The phone is shaped like an awkward square tangle, okay? The black bars just pretty much disappear as you're immersing yourself into the content that you're watching. I really have not minded at all the black bars on the top and the bottom, no matter which way you're holding it, whether it be in portrait or landscape. It's always been a good experience for me. Watching YouTube, Netflix, or Hulu, or whatever you're gonna watch. And the screen is actually bright enough to where you can actually watch content outdoors or in like a brightly lit area, unless you're watching House of the Dragon. What's up with that show? Why is it so dark? Okay, I've digressed. Now let's just get into the overall feel of the phone. The House of the Dragon, man. Wilson, can I digress into this? Why is that show so dark? I've got a good TV. I've got a really good TV, but the show is so freaking dark. And I always have to like turn up the brightness and it still ain't bright enough, so I gotta turn off the lights. All right, now let's calm down, Wilson. Have you ever watched that show, Wilson? Do you? Wilson is so fired. Who doesn't watch House of the Dragon? Wilson, how can you not watch? You gotta watch that show. This weekend, Sunday, it's like episode 9 or 10, you gotta watch House of the Dragon. And I want you all caught up by Monday, because it's gonna be a pop quiz. All right, now back to the Fold 4. Overall feel and experience. I have had some glitches with Bluetooth. And I don't know if it's the watch or the phone software, but when I first got the phone and first got the watch, everything worked seamlessly. You would connect the watch to the phone, and if you had some earbuds or headphones or jumping in your car, getting on Bluetooth, everything worked flawlessly. If you were taking a phone call, it would pick up on the car or in my earbuds or in the watch, and you can switch back and forth depending on which one you wanted to use in real time. But over the last 2 weeks, I've been having these problems, man. So let me know if you've had this problem and if you found a fix for it. But I think it's the watch. It's the Galaxy Watch 5 Pro. Once I'm connected, and it's not all the time, but once I'm connected, I can get audio to play, like music, on a speaker, right? Or on the phone. But when a phone call comes in, I can't take that phone call on the watch, nor can I take it on a Bluetooth headset, whether it be earbuds or headphones or in my car, unless I reset my phone or restart my phone, and then all of a sudden it just works again. I have no idea what's going on. I have not found a fix for it or even the real cause of it. The only thing I haven't done is master reset my watch and or my phone. So that's been, I'm gonna just call that a glitch for right now, because I have no idea what's going on. Now, cases. There's a lot of cases for this phone. I think they all look cool, but I only have 2 because I don't use cases that much. I don't even know which one is gonna be my favorite. Right here, I have the S Pen kickstand case, and man, I've been kind of forcing myself to use this one for the past, I would say 4 or 5 days, and it was pretty easy to get used to. It does add a little bit of extra bulk to holding the phone, especially since the pen is on the back, and it adds a little bit of extra weight. So when you put it in your pocket, yeah, it feels like your whole pocket is filled up with your phone, and it gets extra heavy. But it does add an adequate amount of protection to the phone, and I like the fact that I have my S Pen with me. But here's where I have a gripe. They're forcing you to choose between the S Pen or the kickstand. Why can't we have both? Sometimes, this is a big phone, sometimes you want to watch a video, prop your phone up, or if I'm reading some notes or something, I would like to have my phone propped up right here, but I might need the S Pen and it's no longer with me because I had to take it out in lieu of the kickstand. So I wish that there was a built-in kickstand on all of these cases. It just should be that way because of the form factor of the phone. But that's my gripe about the case that has the S Pen and the kickstand. Now, the other one I've been using, which is a personal favorite, is this silicone case. I got this one in white and with the orange little strap on the back, and I just like it. It's got a nice soft touch feel to it. It goes on real snappy and quick like that. Add some grip to the phone, and it also has a little lip. Actually, both of these have a little lip built on the side of here where the power button is. That way you don't have to squeeze the phone so hard to open it. That lip just allows you to just kind of dip your thumb in there and just flap it open just like that. But I actually really like this little handy strap right here because the phone is a little heavy. So you can just one hand the phone and you have some extra support right here, whether you're using it in regular phone style or in tablet mode. So as far as the overall experience, you got good cases, with the exception of having to choose between a pen or a kickstand. But the phone itself is still a great phone. I still love it. Still glad I spent all that money on it this much later. But yeah, they've got some things to work on. My favorite things would definitely be the battery life. The fact that I just really don't have to worry about this phone dying on me and just having this big old landscape to do stuff with. I just want to do stuff now. I got a tablet right here. And then when I don't want one, I don't. Either way, that's my opinion, my latest opinion on the Galaxy Z Fold 4. Wilson has homework to do. He's got to go watch some Game of Thrones. Have you ever seen Game of Thrones? Okay, Wilson has seen Game of Thrones, but not House of the Dragon. Look, man, y'all pray for Wilson. All right, Wilson, we got homework to do. Let's get out of here, man. Let's go.